Paco rises again, Dmer delivers, the Saints waste their chance, and the Dons edge on Easter. This is the Sash, definitely not the official podcast of the Essendon Football Club. I'm your host, Rob, here with you for a Tuesday night version of the review show. I can't even speak. That's how excited I am. And joining me in the studio is Jesse. Hello, bud.
G'day. Good to be back. Thanks for having me. It's getting warmer and warmer in this office every time I get here. I'm not sure what's going on with the heating in here, but you'd think on the coldest day of the year, wearing a jumper and a scarf is a good call, but I'm already sweating.
Would you say the Dons are heating it up? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Is it the cauldron?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Yep. And hello to you, Joel. Hello, buddy.
Hello. Yeah, look, it is pretty warm in here. But yeah, I like to think it's a bit of Don magic sprinkled through the studio tonight that's warming things up, you know. I'm not as cold and dead inside as I normally am. So it might be that.
That's good.
Yeah. But look, bit of Don's magic on the weekend. It wasn't the most clinical of games, but I think, I don't know about you guys. Before we get into it, I did just want to say, I came into this season with a bit of I'm not sure if malaise is the right word, but I was a bit like, oh, here we go again. And we played Hawthorn, we won, but it wasn't convincing. And then obviously we lost to Sydney, but then just getting this little nice win where it was hard fought and it was gritty and I was excited. I've kind of got a bit of a spark again coming to the season. I'm not sure how you guys feel, but that's what Saturday's done for me. And I feel energized through the pod. I feel excited to do it. Are you guys energized? Are you enthused? Are you pumped?
Yeah, a bit of grit's good. It's something that we've missed for a while. I feel like I'm going to have to grit through this with the heat in here. I'm going to just be thinking about the boys in the last quarter.
That's right. Bit of Essendon edge will get you through this pod.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Joel, are you on your phone?
Yeah. Just looking to get some new team kits for my social clubs.
What sport are you playing?
Basketball, soccer, footy, rugby, cricket, pickleball, tennis, netball, a bit of esports. Yep.
Gee, bit of a jack of all trades, Joel.
Yeah, well, I've got a pickleball background.
Oh, that's important for the podcast game, the old pickleball background. Where are you getting these kits from?
I get my kits from First Ever Custom. You actually get 10% off when you check out using the discount code SASH10.
So all of those team kits for all those different sports you mentioned, you're going to get 10% off.
Yeah, that's right. So the credit card's getting a bit of a workout, but I generally leave things to the last minute, and only 15 business days turnaround for delivery, so I'm going to get them quickly. Only
15 business days. When does pickleball season start?
There's many seasons.
Many seasons. Yeah. All year round. Well, that's Don's Footy, baby. You can check the links on our socials and in the episode description.
I wonder who's going to edge the jumper off first.
Yes.
You or myself. Yeah. You've got to, just for all those people that aren't watching the YouTube, Joel has got this very thick, good-looking sort of beige. I'm going to say, is it camel?
Is it a wind cheater?
Is it what kind of fur are we talking?
Cashmere.
Well, it was.
Yeah, it looks
let's go with cashmere. Yeah. I mean, it was the
Cashmere or cashmere?
Uniqlo do make some great stuff. I'm sure it's a cotton.
I don't know.
Quarter zip as well.
Yeah.
I think
very
that
corporate.
Joel could be edging this off.
Yeah,
first.
it's my corporate jumper, and that's how it came about because nothing. I've got this thing where anytime work is a little bit more casual, or we have Friday where you can wear a little bit more casual if you have no meetings. I don't have any clothes that are suitable. I've got either my full corporate stuff or things that I would wear to a 3-day festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Essendon shit.
Yeah, or Essendon stuff. So yeah, there's kind of no in between in all of those. So this was one of my first purchases. I'm like, all right, this is a cross between my worlds, and maybe it'll get some use. So yeah, thanks for noticing.
Welcome to your 30s.
Welcome, and thanks for the story.
Welcome to your 30s, Joel. Welcome to your 30s.
Yes.
Growing up.
I don't have any other clothes aside from office clothes anymore.
Yeah.
That is
30s talk.
Yeah.
It's actually verging on 40s talk.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. When
are you getting the golf clubs? Have they already been purchased?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. When you start walking past the stores that sell skinny jeans and going, gee, Gazman's got some nice stuff, that's when you know you're getting old. That's when you know it's changing your life. Boys, before we get stuck into the show and we talk about the game, I did just want to make a little shout out, a bit of a somber one. So I learnt on the weekend that a longtime fan of the show passed away over the summer, a young fellow by the name of Riley. Riley was a massive fan of the pod. He was a paid subscriber. He used to message all the time. He sent in voicemails. We even ran into him a few times after the games. I know him and Ryan bumped into each other a few times at games. So, it was something that kind of was a sad note to the weekend that a friend of his let me know that this was the case. I don't really know any of the circumstances behind it, but I just wanted to give a shout out to his family, and I just want to dedicate today's show to Riley because he was a big fan of ours from the very early days. So, yeah. Bit of a teary, but anyway. Shout out to all his friends and any people who do listen, thinking of all of them. Let's look at the game, boys. Where were you watching from, Jess? Because Joel and I went to the game together. Where were you viewing the game
I was in a few different locations, but I started
mentally or physically?
Yeah, metaphorically and physically.
Yes,
yeah. I was at the San Remo pub in Phillip Island.
Ooh.
Which was quite disastrous, really. You know, you've just got to the pub, you got your first drink in front of you. Started with an Aperol Spritz as well.
Ooh, holiday. Hello.
Yeah, Thank you. And they piled on the first 2 or 3, and within the first couple of minutes, I'm sitting there. It's got me a long day in the pub.
How many jumpers were you wearing?
4, actually.
Okay, yeah. Right. Understand.
Yeah, I came prepared. And there was this very rowdy Dons guy next to me, which was helping with it all. But we ended up leaving third quarter, and I found myself on the couch back at the Phillip Island house watching the last quarter. And it was a good ending.
Yeah.
It was a thriller, and just couldn't be more stoked to have seen the result in the end. Just that grit. As I said, it's not something that we've seen from the Dons for a little while, but Brad Ball is starting to form, and we're seeing, similar essence to what his North Melbourne sides had, which was just a tough team to come up against. And if we can continue being that team, I feel like that's all we've ever really wanted as Essendon supporters for so long. So, I couldn't be happier, really. I said that we were going to lose by 10 goals, so I was pretty happy to see the result in the end.
Yeah. What's your overall feelings behind it, Jolly?
Yeah, it was great. This is the first game I've watched live. So there was definitely periods through the first couple of quarters where, I was really seeing how bad we were in transition. You don't notice it as much on telly, even though you see the ball go from one end to another, and that was really starting to concern me. But you're right, the kind of resilience to come back and the determination to not just drop our heads and let them run over us was really, really good. And to see particular players try and take, we'll get into goods as well, but try and take responsibility and put it on their shoulders. Often the time it's just Zachy who's the one who wants to do it. But there were other players who you could see no, I'm going to change the course of this game. I'm going to do something that's going to lift the team. And we spoke about it a bit last week as well, but all the teammates getting around each other, someone lays a good tackle, there's 4 or 5 blokes getting over to him or backing someone up in a push and shove. And you're right, that Brad Ball and that edge, that we've been talking about, it's really, really positive to see. So obviously lots to work on, but left feeling really good. And I got home after a few beers, had a Suva and watched the replay straight away. So
nice.
It was fantastic.
Mixed?
I did get a mixed actually. Normally I'm straight lamb, but I thought I'd spice things up.
Okay. Yeah. You were celebrating the win.
Yeah, wow, wild guy.
Yeah.
Why did you look out? All right, how was your partner at home? Was she concerned about how?
No, she was having a night out, so I knew I could just be a slob on the couch.
So you were going to get a wild sort of mixed kebab.
Yeah, that's right.
As well.
That's a post-Essendon win wild watching the replay.
Chili sauce as well in there?
No, I'm not a big fan of chili sauce. I'm like a
that would be
garlic sauce or only kind of guy on my kebabs. I like to go tradish.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that'd be way too freaky for you getting the chili sauce in there.
Well, yeah, if I had that, it would have been a little too close to the Saints colours, the chili sauce, the black charred meat and the white garlic sauce. Wasn't about it.
Yeah, not about it at all.
So just went the Collingwood colours. Even better.
Even better. That's what you want on a Suva anyway. Should we get into the goods, boys? Plenty of goods to speak about. Where do we begin? I think something that I've liked from, and it's not just this week, it's the last couple of weeks, is that I feel like even though Sydney did run away with it at the end in that game last week, is that we are still scoring quite well in last quarters.
The scoreboard didn't also reflect the game, I would say, against Sydney. They kicked 4 in the last 3.5 minutes or something along those lines, which blew it out.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, I think my point is, like, not saying. I mean, look, we did close out the game against St Kilda, and we also did against Hawthorn. But is that, like, if you look at the scoring shots, I think for all 3 games, our most scoring shots, or at least equal, I think, in one circumstance, have been in the last quarter. Some games there's been more goals than behinds. But I think that's a really good sign, is that I'm kind of going, oh, okay, so this, this first pre-season of professionalism where more than 2 blokes have actually done it, apparently, seems to be showing something in the early stage of this year that come later in the game, no, we're not a totally dead team, and we're going to fight pretty hard, like we did in the 2 games we won. And, as you said, we fought Sydney pretty hard until they, finally put us away there at the end. That's a really good sign for me, is that we're not, so far, we haven't been a side to just wilt when things aren't going your way. Would this scoreboard pressure of an accurate St Kilda side change it up? Of course, but that's not what happened. And, that last quarter, it was just inevitable. Like, I think I said to you, Joel, with probably more than 10 minutes ago, I was like, because I think we came close to being in front, then they got one again, and then we came close again. I said, the second we get in front, this game's over. Like, you can just see that we're
running over the top.
We're totally running over the top of them. And that's just an awesome sign,
particularly against the Saints, who have been touted as having some of the best runners in the AFL. And we know how hard those Ross Lyon coach teams are to beat. So it was a massive, massive effort. The same against Hawthorn. It's not something that we've seen regularly. Probably would say, these players that are now stepping up, our sort of 21 to 24-year-old players into their 3rd or 4th seasons, I would say are stepping up. But, geez, it's good just beating a Ross Lyon team. I really enjoy it. There's nothing...
Because they make you earn it.
They make you really
They really make you earn it. And, like, look, I don't think it's fair to say that they're a dirty team, because they're not, but I think they push the rules. They love holding a jumper. You watch those games, like it was the same last year when they beat us at the G. They just love holding on. They really make people earn it. Like, they do a bit of that action where it's not like I said, you're not a dog team or anything like that. But it's like, no, we're gonna make you earn it. And look, if we give up a couple of free kicks, sure. But they do. They're a hard team to play, and it's nice that we were able to get the result done. Yep. So that's what I'm happy about.
It's a good thing to be happy about. I'm really enjoying the off-season acquisitions, and I'll group them together, and we might speak about Dmer in particular a little bit later. But that was a good example of us trying to plug some holes that we had, instead of just spending ridiculous picks on, a Dylan Shield or whatever, who might have star quality, but maybe not fixing the hole that we need. Like, Goldstein's been incredibly serviceable, and it wasn't his, best game on the weekend necessarily, but he stood up in key moments, had some really, really strong contests. Obviously, Gresham didn't have that big of a game, but he has in the first 2 rounds. Mackay's been really, really solid. He's got some really good stats around, where he's ranked elite and in the top 10 in a couple of key defensive measures, like
looking good,
defensive marks and stuff. Yeah, so I just think I'm kind of really happy that it looks like we made some really considered decisions in the, on the trade table for once, and that just makes me kind of feel that maybe things behind the scenes are a little bit more cohesive or settling a little bit more, and that's kind of reflecting into what's happening on the field as well.
Yeah, because I think all 3 games, you can now see that all 4 of those guys who've come in have all shown why they've come in and justified the reason for that. Obviously, Dmer, it was his week this week. Mackay's had a couple of really strong weeks. Gresham was probably our second best player last week against the Swans, and then obviously Goalie as well has done it when he needs to. So that's what's nice, is you're not bringing someone going, oh God, what's going to happen here? It's like, no, these guys they're playing their role. They're fitting in. It makes sense. It's good.
Yeah. I hate Rowan Marshall. I just hate him. He's so good.
Yeah, I really like him.
He's so good, man. Like, in the first 2 quarters, the first quarter, he took 7 intercept marks.
Yeah.
And it was so good seeing Dmer chase down that big
Yeah, that was
bastard.
huge.
Oh, it was just like sweet relief. I feel like he was the only player in their team. Like, honestly, they would be a useless team without Rowan Marshall.
Yep.
I'm going to go as far to say that. He is so important to them. And, God, it's good to see a couple of rucking free kicks go our way for once.
That's true.
Goldie's so good
Yeah.
at
He's
getting
awesome.
rucking free
Yeah.
kicks. He's had so many in the first couple of weeks, and it's been a long time since an Essendon supporter seen a rucking free kick go their way.
It's been a
Whenever
minute.
you see a
It's been a minute.
ruck contest and the umpire blows his whistle, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, God. And the last couple of times it's gone to us, I've been on cloud nine seeing it, really. I mean,
Getting
you got to
ruck free
take the
kicks.
little wins in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, the absolute lottery that is a ruck free kick. Was he all Australian last year, Ryan Marshall? Because I feel like, well, maybe not.
He's so good, though.
He is a
Yeah.
gun, and like, yeah, again, like we're talking about Goldstein, like the tandem Draper Goldstein. Yeah, first half Marshall when he's like tanks full, just such an impact around the ground, such an impact in the middle. Second half of the game, they just
Wore him down.
totally wore him down, and then when they had to bring in the backups, whether it be Mitch Owens or someone else, like they
Yep.
just couldn't get near it because
Yeah.
they don't run with a second ruckman at this point in time. And we saw at the game, Joel, where I think at half time the centre clearances were maybe 5 each at the time,
5-5, yeah.
and then we went off and won the rest of them bar one, I think, or something like
Yeah,
that. So.
smashed them.
And that starts with the rucks for me. Like I think
Yeah.
that's really important because someone as good as Marshall will make sure that's not going to be the case. And he's running out of gas, then your backup ruckman aren't impacting in that sense, and then off you go. So
Maybe
Yeah.
we, as you sent in the other day, they're looking at potential new logo designs. Maybe we should become the Essendon wood chippers. And we just chip away.
just chip it
Just
away.
chip away.
Chip.
Little
chip,
chippies.
chip. Little chippies. I mean, I do like eating chippies, so
Yeah, the wood chippers.
wood chippers. Yeah,
Up
no,
the
we,
chippies.
yeah, we did chip away, so that was
Yeah.
promising. Who wants to single out a player? Because there was a few people who had a pretty good game. Who wants to go first? Jesse, Joel.
Well, look, continuing on from what I was saying before and what you flagged, we'll go with Dersma.
Yeah.
There was a few
Don't shy away. Just get into it.
Yeah, there was a few, like, we kind of queried his impact over the first couple of weeks on the pod, and he really showed as a two-way runner and as a winger, like, the impact that he can have. Like, obviously there was that tackle, there was the spoil in the last, couple of minutes where he, got back to that contest. And
So
in past
good.
years, maybe we wouldn't have had a winger who would run that hard to get there or impact that as much. And he was also, kicking the ball inside 50 and involved in scores. So that was a really
And
good wingers
scoring.
game. Yeah.
Good
He
goal.
can goal himself, So
Yeah, we finally got to see the bow and arrow.
yeah, that was really good to see for him, and I hope that gives him a lot of confidence to build on that because it was a really good game on the wing.
And he needs that confidence. He just needs some continuity. He needs some kilometers in the legs. And you can already see how much he has improved. I mean, the training reports over the summer in the intros suggested that he only trained he started training about halfway through Jan because of his injuries. But most of the intros from a lot of the blitzies
The
out
blitzies.
there, the blitzies,
Yeah.
the blitzers,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call them, had him within, the sort of top three on the ground every time doing all those things. The first couple of games of the year, particularly last week, he was a bit of a butcher, and it's just nerves. You're playing for a new team, you're getting that synergy, but third game, you're second, third best on the ground, and you pretty much won us the game with a defensive act on the goal line. You, again, with that chase down tackle with Rowan Marshall, that's a game-saving tackle. That's a team-boosting moment, and we just don't have enough players that stand up in those moments, and I don't think many teams do. So it just shows he's got star power, he's got X factor, and I'm really looking forward to having a conversation about him at the end of the year if he does end up, being able to play every game.
I think on the ability to do that sort of game-changing act defensively. There was a couple of really, really big key moments in that last quarter. There was like Goldstein and Draper, where there was a point where the ball was kicked to both of them on the wing, and they were against a couple of tiny blokes, and they both just competed. And Goldstein, it might have been on steel, I can't remember, but like
Was
this
that
huge
Goldie
tackle.
and Draper, both
Yeah.
of them going at it?
Yeah, and Goldie
Yeah,
just
that
laid
was
this
awesome.
huge tackle, and then it ended up with that stringer shot that almost blew the absolute lid off.
Imagine trying to
the
get around
dome.
those two big blokes though. Like you've got the,
Yeah.
the man-sized pillars in front of you.
But you know that in
It's
so many
awesome.
games in the past, like we put out this one arm and like someone runs past us, but they're at the body. There was the holding the ball that Perko got in the center clearance in the last quarter as well, where he
That
took
was really
down.
good.
Yeah, that was fantastic, you know, and those sorts of things, you know, it was maybe Merritt who started doing them over the last couple of years, and we haven't seen that much else of it. So it
Yeah.
seems to really be
And that
perforating
Dersma
through
one,
the
yeah.
team.
Because it was
Yeah,
Hobbs and Mackay coughed it up,
Mm.
and then was it Marshall who got it out? Someone had it, and then Dersma was the one who
Yeah,
Like-
Ron Marshall was
That-
streaming in.
that was
50.
Marshall. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Hobbs
Which
and,
is great.
Hobbs and Mackay just cooked it, and then he came in and cooked it up. Sensational. Coaches' votes. So Xavier Dmer got 1, Brad Hill got 2, Dyson Heppell got 2, Jack Steele got 3, Seb Ross got 4, Nick Martin got 4, Zach Merrick got 5, and Andrew McGrath got 9.
So
9.
good to see Andy
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
I feel like a few of the whipping boys over the past couple of years stood up massively. Our potency, it's looking like this year, the way that we're looking to gear our attacking transition is almost back to the way that we used to play, which is really attacking off half back and looking at Heppell, McGrath and Martin. Their
Edmund.
meters gained over the past 2 or 3 weeks has been, monumental. But I think that's the best game that Andy McGrath's played for the club over the weekend.
Yeah, and like I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people online saying, he was shit.
awesome.
He had a really bad first half, and like
No, he didn't.
he had a few turnovers, and I'll speak about turnovers in a little bit because I was having watched that game on the weekend. Like there was something I sort of thought about with it. So Jack Higgins kicked 3 goals. I went back and watched it, and of the 3 goals Jack Higgins kicked, there's 1 goal which is absolutely Andy McGrath's fault because they spread away from the middle of the ground, and McGrath just doesn't go with him.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. One of them, he's caught in that awful position where because Owens beats Martin Jake Kelly,
Did
beats
he
someone.
push up?
Yeah, and you've got
Frontal pressure.
because you have the decision where the guy's running towards you, and it's like, do I stay with my man or do I go?
Yeah.
And you have to make a decision. And unless you pull off some incredible smother or the player just coughs it up, you can't. He goes to the top. Higgins kicks a goal. The third one, Durham is running next to Higgins. McGrath's in a different position, and you could argue, McGrath should be next to him, but that's clearly not how they're setting up. And then Higgins just kind of runs off Durham and snaps in front of Goldstein. So I saw people being like, he's to blame for all 3 goals. I'm like, he's probably really to blame for 1.
Mm.
And then at least 1 or 2 of his other Higgins shots didn't look like he was even on the ground. On the turnovers, though, like turnovers again was the reason that St Kilda had so many opportunities, and it continues to be our problem. And
God,
the way
we
the game
looked awful with our turnovers.
and the way
over
the game is right
weekend.
now, it's turnover game, which
Yep.
we can talk about how if we want how we seem to be a clearance side at the moment, but turnovers is the fashion. But all of our defenders had bad turnovers.
Yeah.
And most of the time, in my opinion, it was that first quick kick. Because think about last season where we'd kick out our defence and how slow we were.
Mm-hmm.
So they've clearly gone, all right, we're going to obviously continue to kick it out of defence, but you've got to get that first one quickly, because if a zone is set up, you get that first kick and you change the angle, then the zone's got to move. And that's the whole idea. You're going to get the zone off a sort of kilter. And I think they were all guilty of. They all did bad turnovers. Like McGrath did it, Martin did it, Heppell did it,
Mackay, yeah.
Mackay did 1, Redmond definitely did a 1 or 2, and they all were guilty of doing it. But it's clear the directive is that first kick, we've got to try and do it quickly, if we can. Because McGrath had 10 turnovers, and he was considered the coach's best on ground.
He was the second highest rated player on the ground according to Champion Data
There you
over
go.
the weekend. So he still had a huge impact
Yeah,
on the game.
and also some of his turnovers from watching the game back were long kicks into the forward 50 where Ron Marshall just took the mark.
Yep.
So it's not as though he just kicked it straight to someone in a bad position. He probably did 1 or 2 of those, but that's also the case. So you've kicked to a pack, and then we just didn't get the result. Like Martin had 7 turnovers. I'm just going through the backs here. Redmond had 5. Heppell had 4. Kelly had 3, Mackay had 2, Cox had 2.
Mm-hmm.
So like all the guys who sort of go through that, and actually, and the guy who we probably would say has the worst kick in the back line, Laverty had 1. So I think it's clearly a directive to move it quick from that position. And that's where the risk is, because you go quick, and if you pull it off, then then we're out. We've done what we need to do against the zone or whatever defensive setup it is. But that's the risk. So look, I was really happy with McGrath. I thought he was absolutely willing himself. I ran into a friend of the show, John Curtin, at 3/4 time, and he made a really good point to me. He said, "Man, there's like 5 guys out there like giving their absolute everything. It just feels like there's other people letting them down." That final quarter, it felt like more people sort of stepped to that level. But in that third quarter, McGrath was probably one of those 5 or so guys, Dyson probably as well, Merritt as well, who were just like giving everything they had.
Yeah.
I'm wrapped for McGrath because, as most regulars would know, we pot him pretty hard on this program. And that's the kind of performance that justifies the number 1 draft selection.
Absolutely.
For mine.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know if you saw the reverse footage of him scoring that goal, but he was about 35 metres in front of Dan Butler, and Dan Butler's goal side. And it's such a risky game that you play when you're pushing up and you're trying to suffocate. And in that instance, it worked, but you can see that it's clearly a coaching directive where they are saying to him, you have a license to be quite attacking in that role, which would have led to a few of those goals. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily the coach's fault to blame in that situation, but you can tell that higher up the ground, suffocating way of building the wall is obviously the way that they're trying to get the team to play, that forward half turnover. And we have seen, as a result of that, we're getting crucified still on transition. And it was still pretty evident over the weekend. Like
there was one where they just walked it from end to end just about at the start, in that first quarter. And I'm just sitting there being like, what have I come here to watch today?
Oh, that was bad. That felt like we were in for a really long day. Shocking. But they looked, in fairness, they cleaned it up. Another good for me is that we're the number 1 clearance team in the AFL. We've got the number 1 clearance differential to any other team as well, which is not something that I've ever seen as an Essendon supporter.
Which I like.
Yeah, it's great.
Goldie's helped us significantly when it's come to our stoppages. And a massive good is that we lacked Setterfield over the weekend, and there was big question marks over who would step up. And I think Jai Caldwell had one of the best games that he's had for probably 15, 20 weeks. He was really clean, had about 20 disposals, stepped up. He was around more stoppages. But just generally speaking, we're now that's a massive weapon now that we have. And, you know, if we can clean up the defensive side of our game, there's no doubt in my mind that we become a premiership threat. And I know that's a big, big call. But if you're the number 1 clearance team in the AFL and you can learn how to defend, then you create more stoppages, you win the stoppages, and you score.
Yeah, and it's the ability to, within that, like, stop momentum going the other way. Like, you know, we that's been an issue for us a long time is we'll get beaten in the clearance and then we'll get 4 or 5 goals scored against us in an 8-minute period, and then we're just out of the game. So the ability to kind of wrestle that back and then get 1 or 2 the other way just kind of halts that flow. We were plus 13 in clearances in the end for the game around the ground, and then plus 15 in contested possessions, which just doesn't sound like an Essendon team of the past that you would do that. Yeah, and we were down at half time.
Yeah.
So it's just such a huge turnaround, and you're right, with setters out, like we were speaking about that before the game, and Harry Jones probably deserves a shout out amongst this as well.
We'll get to him in a second. Yeah.
Like the fact that we were still able to adjust and become more defensive after maybe getting a little bit blitzed in the first couple of quarters was awesome. Because, could have just kept happening. But how much of that's Goldie, how much of that's Perko stepping up, how much of that's Caldwell? It's just a combination of all of them.
It's a team effort.
And that's it. Like, I mean, if you look at the numbers, like it's a real spread. Like Merritt and Parrish are obviously like top 2 with 7 and 5 clearances apiece. But then, like, there's just like a lot of players on the list. So it's like Martin, Draper, Perkins, Hobbs, Heppell, Gresham, Goldstein, Dersma, Durham. All of them had like 2 or 3 each. And there's a couple like Stringer, Langford, Kelly, Cox and Caldwell always single. So like it's not just like, oh, yep, you've got your one bull who just gets in there and gets his 10 clearances every single week, and that's kind of how you roll. Like, there's a spread of guys who are working there, whether it be the centre bounce or around the ground, to get that first use. And it is so important getting that first use, because if you don't fuck the kick up, then you can go on and do good things.
Yeah.
Which is obviously important. And, I guess that is what's nice, is that, we improved doing it throughout the game. We improved our defense throughout the game. We improved all these aspects. And you go, cool, let's keep that momentum going into next week, or this week, rather, because the game's on Friday. And fingers crossed, not start with Port Adelaide walking it end to end, and actually start being like, no, we're going to make this hard for you.
Yep.
Make this a challenge. Let's talk about Harry Jones. Late in, we'd obviously heard rumours throughout the week that Setterfield was unlikely to play. Jones came in and it was like a new man, basically. Just flying across packs, sticking marks, really, really good. I remember saying to you, Joel, when he went back for that first set shot, and I was like, if he kicks this is going to do such a world of good for him, because it's just like a bit of a weight off your shoulders, and he slotted it, and you could see everyone get around him, and then on he went. Gets another goal, has a great intercept mark that obviously didn't realise. I don't think he'd actually been given the mark.
Against Wilkie as well. He's a good player.
Exactly. Against Wilkie as well. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
He actually towed Wilkie up. He ended up having 9 marks over the day, 8 or 9 marks.
Yeah. It's interesting because from a defensive standpoint, it's one thing we speak about a bit. Like Peter Wright's not mobile defensively. Like, he doesn't give you much in terms of any kind of defensive pressure or structure. Whereas, and I'm not saying Harry Jones should replace him. Obviously, Peter Wright should be in the team, but Peter Wright wouldn't do that, or he couldn't get to that ball. Whereas Harry Jones got to that ball, spoiled it, and then ended up marking him.
Yeah,
shot a goal.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we said it now. Oh, do we say that post-match video that we did? Anyway, but like, there will be a point in this season when Peter Wright comes back that Goldstein and or Draper will be rested at some point, particularly Goldstein. He will have a week off at some stage. It's not the bye. That's guaranteed. So seeing a performance like that from Jones gives you a little bit of hope that, yes, when we do run one ruck plus Peter as the second ruck, that we've still got an option up forward who's going to do some things. And I think it's just important for him to get a run and jump at the ball, because when he tries to body and body, it doesn't work. But St Kilda just allowed him to run and jump at it, which Hawthorn didn't do. Hawthorn prevented him doing that. And whether that was just him having a good day or their defenders not giving him the respect that he deserved, he ran across and jumped in those packs and he stuck him. Like, it was the first one, like, Draper was in there with him and he beat Draper to the ball. And it's just like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, where's he been? And the confidence he's going to get from this is the biggest thing.
And we know that's what he's capable of. So it's just so nice to see that, because I feel like, that year in 2021 when, he smashed the Saints and he kicked 3 or 4 and he had the first round against Hawthorn, his very first touch, he had this amazing, he pivoted, turned a player inside out, hit up another forward on the chest.
That's right.
And then he missed 3 or 4 shots, but he was on fire, taking all these marks. Had this unbelievable goal, against St Kilda where he's sort of running back and he just like puts it on his boot, takes it out of the air, puts it on his boot on the goal line. You started to see all this X factor out of him that we hadn't seen from a key forward really since Danaher. And then obviously all those injuries came through, and that was the first glimpse of being able to see the potential of what Harry Jones can bring. And it's so clear that the only thing that he's lacking at the moment is just confidence and continuity in it. And it can take a bit of time. But again, if Harry Jones, I actually back what a few of the broadcasters have said. You just need to, he's aware of it now, I would say, with Peter Wright out, but you've just got to give him confidence to say, look, you've got 5 or 6 weeks now, just give it your best. We want to give you a bit of confidence in knowing that you can keep playing that type of football. Because him drifting over packs, it's a fairly unique skill set that not a lot of key forwards have, and he does it fairly effortlessly. I mean, he still dropped a few over the weekend, but if you can get 10 marks from any one of your key forwards, you're a pretty good chance of winning every week. So I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah. I mean, like, look at the numbers. Like, he had 14, 10 marks and a couple of goals. Like, the only time again that looks similar to that on the stat sheet was back in 2022. Like, or, I mean, no, actually not even. Like, he had goals in 2022, but the last time he had more than 13 touches was 2021, where he had 14.
Yeah.
So, like, just getting involved. Because, like, I'm happy when he's marking high up the ground because that's what I want. Like, it's important to have players who do that. But then obviously going back and doing inside 50 is important as well. So, yeah, Hawthorn 2021, he had 14, 8 marks and 2 goals.
Was that his debut? I think that was his first game.
Nah, that was a different game. So this was the later game
Right.
of that season. 2022, he had several games where he kicked 2 goals, but not getting as much involvement with marks and touches. So just this is a confidence, man. Like,
Yep, you can see it on his face.
Like with Cox and probably with Zach Reid, having confidence on your ability, but also having confidence in your body is one thing.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even touch on Coxie. Like I feel like it's slow, but I can see signs that he's building there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for sure.
he's the thing that I'm being really impressed is work in traffic, whereas like he's not just like stopping and just getting caught with the ball. Is that like he's being part of that defensive scramble to get the ball out, and he looks pretty comfortable. Got a couple of intercept marks. He's obviously feeling more confident in his body. He's more feeling confident in his ability. It's the same with Jones. Just got to get Reedy back on the park with the same thing, and then who knows? Who knows what could happen?
It is exciting.
They could all play 3 games and get injured.
Yeah, that's right. I think Cox. I think we looked at it after the game. I think he's played 32 or 33 games overall, and it's just not a lot of footy over 4 years for someone of that size. That's
Similar to
building and
Jones.
stuff like that. Yeah,
About 30.
you know, and it's really, really easy to like having known them for a few years to start writing them off. But like, yeah, patience is really important with those guys and the confidence. And yeah, that's it. Cox, he made a couple of mistakes on the weekend, but I agree. Just every week, it's like, okay, you're really starting to impact. Your tackles are sticking. You know, you're taking a little bit more time in traffic,
couple
and
of
you're quicker after you're getting the ball from a mark. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy about him. We should probably give Dyson Heppell a good shout out because he had a really, really good game. Like a lot of the team in that first term, use was pretty poor, but after that, just really solid. Like his intercept marking has become one of his biggest skills, whether it's positioning himself in the right place or the fact that defenders somehow spray the ball to wherever he's standing. And just like last week against Sydney, he was very fumbly. He was getting the ball was going behind him.
Dropped a lot of marks.
Dropped a lot of marks. Just didn't have the composure that like you sort of you expect with a senior player. This week that was back. You know, conditions probably help. I think he enjoys playing under the roof versus, you know, a dewy bog of the SCG that they like to hose down every single time you go up there. Yeah, like you know, I know it's round 3, but you're like, wow, will he go around again? Like that's the thought you had because he had such a good game.
Yeah.
You know, one of the best games he's played in a long time. And yeah, like I remember saying it last season, and like, if this is the year that we finally break the drought and win a final, I want Dyson Heppell in that team. Like,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
would, like, for him, of all the people who've been at this club, if he's in the side where we finally break that drought, I think it'd be incredible. And I really want him to be there.
It won't happen,
Yeah.
though. And my criticism...
Are you saying it won't because he can't be in a finals winning team for
Correct.
us? Or,
Yeah,
okay.
he's just not good enough. And
Interesting.
the inconsistencies of his performance is just what is detrimental to our performance being inconsistent as well. I mean, as much as it was a great game over the weekend, I just can't forgive him for dropping chest marks last week against Sydney. It's just diabolical that someone, you know, of that level of experience, you know, you're a senior member of the team and you're dropping chest marks that are leading to goals. And I understand, yeah, he was great over the weekend, but I don't think this is necessarily a criticism of Dyson Heppell. I think it's a criticism of the entire football club and its selection choice. And we have too many defenders in our team that can't defend. Dyson Heppell at the best of times can't defend. Nick Martin at the best of times can't defend. Nick Hine definitely can't defend.
He plays more of a forward, I guess.
But he did
now,
play
yeah.
as a defender for 2 or 3 years against us. And we just have Nick Cox questionably can defend. He's more often than not 20 metres off his man. The amount of times I'm still seeing, and I understand he's young and he's got a cover at the moment, but there's just no way that we can be a serious football club if we have 3 or 4 people in our team that just aren't defenders and can't defend. Like every good team, even if you look at Geelong right now, you wouldn't look at any of their defenders and go, they're attacking players that have been turned into defenders. They're all solid defenders that defend first, do a good job. Look at the Hawthorn back in the day. All these teams have every single line has a really, really good defender. And at the moment, I have 2 or 3 spots. Even Laverde over the weekend, he's really out of form. I understand his second half was better, but our defense is a shambles. We need to figure out what's going on there. I understand that we're decimated by injuries at the moment, but we're not going to win a final. I'm sorry, with the defense that we've got. We're just not.
Look, I understand what you're saying about inconsistencies with Heppell. I think that's fair. He has been very inconsistent. I think his liability is his speed. If the ball goes to ground, he can just be burnt very, very quickly.
And his tackling. I don't think that he's overly physical.
Yeah, no,
from a tackling point of view.
his tackling's not great. His biggest strength is in the air, but. Yeah, you're right. Like there are guys there, like him and Martin in particular. Martin is obviously an attacking player that we've moved there. Him is just kind of old, I think, is just part of it. And
yeah, of course.
Then the other, as
I said, it's not an indictment on him as a person. It's just a coaching thing.
Yeah, but it's kind of you're robbing Peter to pay Paul because, all right, we need someone in the back line who's a very good user so we can get it out of there. Can we cover the fact that they may not be strong in one aspect of their game? We'll talk about Martin, for instance, who, I think is getting better in playing in that role. Can we cover that by having someone who's even stronger defensively that might not be?
I think you can have 1 or 2 attacking defenders, but we have too many in our team. We just have too many attacking defenders. I'm not sure where the balance is at the moment. I just think the balance is currently out of whack.
Yep. Well, so obviously Ridley's a chance of coming back in this week.
Actually, no.
Oh, really?
No, Ryan sent through a message. Defender Jordan Ridley will also miss the other round as he continues to work towards a return from the quad injury he sustained prior to the start of the season.
Was it against Port that he got knocked out? I was against Melbourne in Adelaide.
Port. No, it was Port. It was Port. It was Willie Rioli.
Yeah.
Cheap hit.
Okay. Look, I understand what you're saying as well.
But the back line's going... assuming there's no injury, the back line's going in unchanged.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
No, I know Lewis Hayes had a good VFL game. And
I would bring him in. I honestly would. I'd bring him in over Laverde. I understand Laverde's a staple, but when's this kid going to get a go? Like, he's been very good for the past 2 or 3 years in the VFL, and he's just almost had a best on ground performance. Why not give him a go? Like, I understand that the concern is there, but he is an out and out defender. He's taller than Laverde as well, and he's quite clean. He's actually got fantastic disposal from all the games that I've seen. Is it the time to look at bringing someone like a Lewis Hayes in to cover? And that's a matchup thing, right? And now I'm not sure who the keys are. I know that Dixon's playing.
Marshall will play.
Finlayson.
But he's sort of a ruckman.
Anyway.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Thought.
I know we played Reid and Cox in the same side, but I feel like I don't know where he's at and if they would have the faith to run another rangy type who they're not as confident because they were clearly very confident in Reid's ability when he was fit. But I don't know. I didn't see much of the game VFL on the weekend, so I can't comment. But
you haven't heard them speak about Hayes enough to really think that he garners any opportunity to get a game, I would say.
No, I would be very shocked if that was the case.
Certainly.
Yeah. And, Laverde, for all his doubters, and when he's not getting, when he's not getting caught in a bad position and, him just being beaten, he's very physical. And that's one thing that I would look at some other defenders and question whether that kind of player. Like, I wouldn't call Ridley a very physical player, nor would I Cox, nor would I Heppell. Mackay would. But Laverde's a brute. And that is one of his strengths, that he is a brute and he can be good against those kind of guys. Again, when he's not just being beaten on a 20-meter lead all the time. So, yeah, I'd be shocked to see any changes.
Do you know what Nick Martin's champion data rating was over the weekend in terms of position? So, McGrath was the second highest rated player in the ground. do either of you guys just want to take a guess as to what Nick Martin's
rating
was, player rating?
Is this like this is like super coach points? Is that what
No,
this is?
champion data. So this is based on
as in like
statistically impact.
As in like from 1 to 40, whatever. As in like
1 to whatever the number is. 40,
maybe
5,
15,
5, 4,
close, 17.
17.
Yeah. Because look, he had a lot of kicks that just went sideways because we were just switching the ball and trying to get it out of there. Like he had some don't get me wrong, he had a couple of really good moments, but yeah, it wasn't a 44 disposal. Oh my god, you were cutting this game apart. Like he just had a lot of ball in the back half of the ground where not much was going on. He didn't have a bad game. He had a good game. But
how much longer do we try him at halfback? Well, so if he keeps playing that way, and I know that people would say, "Oh, he's playing that way," but
he didn't play bad though. Like if you're going to give him a rating out of 10, you wouldn't say he's below a 5.
Is he more impactful on the wing or at halfback? That's the question.
Well, I guess it's more just.
And it's hard to say right now, but how much longer do we go as a club?
Yeah.
Because I think that he's wasted at halfback if he's playing the way that he's played over the first 3 rounds. Now, it's a tough opinion, but the questions will start being asked in the next 5 to 6 weeks if he keeps performing to a similar level because he was very impactful on the wing. Like he was...
But he was very...
the highest rated wingman.
Yeah, but like, firstly, champion data can stick one. They rate some of the worst players and their best players of the year every single year. So that's one point. I know that's your rating, but champion data can get fucked. First of all, they can. I'm sorry, but they can. Fair
enough.
They can. Like, I mean, God, who was the player? There was someone they had in there, like, to highest rated players one season. I was just like,
I love how we'll like use it and deny it when it suits us best, though. Like when Nick Martin's the highest rated, we're like, come on.
This is politics 101. You use the data to when it suits you.
Yeah, correct.
When it suits you, I'll just eliminate all the data points to go against my theory, but I'm just going to use the one that I like.
Yeah.
But look, he had a good game. He didn't have a bad game. He had a good game. Was he the best player on the ground? I don't think he was. He had a lot of the footy, but he did some good things as well. And it's just this like balance of going, what is the right balance of this? And part of that equation now is also like, what are we getting out of the wings? Dersmer's just shown after a terrific game that he absolutely has to be playing on the wing. When Durham's playing, he can also be there on the wing. There's obviously like the Jake Kelly wing thing. I still don't understand, and I'm not buying it. But like, there's like he drifts and he becomes a more defensive player in the setup. But I think it's just having options because there might come a time this season where Dersmer gets injured or Cox gets injured because Cox just spends time on the wing still, or Kelly gets suspended, or whatever happens, and we actually have to force Martin to play there because we need him there, as opposed to like this is the setup. But they clearly have identified since Brad Scott has come in the door that they need someone in the team who's a good user. And it started as Kyle Langford in round 1 last year, and we saw how long that lasted because we had to play him somewhere else. And right now they're going, this is the man for the job. And if it's not Nick Martin, either McGrath or Redmond have to become a infinitely better kick than they already are, or we have to find another player.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the main point. Like we spoke around what the back half turnovers were and how many there were and how critical they were. I think ideally Martin's getting the handball receive and like taking a really, really good option in a lot of those areas. So that balance of like when he attacks and how he helps those other players out probably is still finding his feet in. But I really, really see it from that side of things. For me, a lot of the time our defense, the concern isn't our defense. The concern is like how quickly it's going in there and how quickly it's moving up the field. Like I feel like a lot of the time they might be 20 meters from their man, but it's not their fault necessarily. Like they can maybe work harder, but it's the fact that or maybe they've run too far to attack, expecting it to go that way. But it's a full ground thing as opposed to a one-on-one thing.
I just miss him running through stoppages. I really do.
Well, he
looks so nice running through stoppages last year.
But like he runs through congestion in the back 50 still. Like I know it's not like in parts of the ground where you go, well, he's going to kick a goal. Like it's different parts of the ground. But I mean, to Joel's point, like if you wanted someone to take a tight kick in back 50 out of Martin, McGrath, Redmond, Heppell, Mackay, Laverde, or Cox and Nick Martin, who are you going to choose? I think 9 out of 10 people are going to choose Nick Martin.
Surely.
Like
he's still turned it over a lot this year, though.
Yeah, but that's just an issue across the board. And like that was the point that I was making before, is that they all had that issues at times, and it was, it's often just where you turn it over that is the deciding factor. And he kicked it to Caminiti and Caminiti kicked to goal, and that's what happened.
Oh,
Well,
that was bad.
Yeah, that was bad. Is Duz going to be out for a week now?
I believe so.
Concussion protocols. So maybe you'll see him up there this week.
Yeah, that is my understanding. It's concussion in 1 week. So I assume my predictive changes for Friday is Setterfield in, Durham out.
Yeah,
that is all. That is all I'm
So
expecting.
I think
she
Ben
wrote,
Hobbs get some time on the wing as a result of Duz being taken out of the team.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, possibly, or Caldwell even. Part of that sort of rotation, I guess. I mean, Hobbs warmed up with the forwards.
Yeah.
That was one thing when Joel and I sat down. I was like, I'm like, Hobbs is there with like Menzies and stuff. Like he wasn't with the midfield group.
There was 5 forwards warming up doing handball drills, and then there was just Stringer inside 50 by himself, just snapping the ball, just by himself the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. He just does it on the night, mate. And it worked. It clearly worked.
The cheese needs a mention. He was so good over the week. He's had such a good start to the
He
year.
has.
You'd love these out contract years. With the string. They're the best.
Yeah.
1 year.
Bring it
on.
on.
From now on.
Yeah, surely. Just keep putting him on a 1 year.
I went to
strain his mental health more than it needs to be strained.
I was wondering if there was like a thing about him on Easter weekend. I went through the data and I was just like, after last year, there were obviously a bunch that just didn't play. And I was like, oh no, there's not a theme of him just turning it on for Easter. He's not a holiday
excited
specialist.
About the chockies.
Yeah,
he's like, I can get home and have the Easter egg hunt as soon as I finish this.
Surely.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, no. Mum says for every goal I get an Easter egg. Oh, gee.
Yeah.
10 Easter eggs for every goal.
He has been good. He's been really impactful.
And his defensive work has been the highlight.
Looking fit. Looking
very
strong.
fit. His chase down, he looks like a scary man when he picks up the pace with those small little legs that kind of waddle towards you, but like a really quick waddle.
Yeah, well,
he can pick up some pace, that man.
Tackles inside 50 for Essendon. Zach Merritt 3, Jake Stringer 2. Everyone else who got 1. So numbers don't lie.
La Package.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Anyone else you guys want to speak about? No. Long pause. Talk about how good our seats were, Joel, if you want.
Well, big shout out to Ticketverse.
Yeah.
Fantastic seats. And it's really starting to pack out there as well. Shout out to anyone else who's using Ticketverse to get their Medallion Club seats, because we're right in front of the box actually, and we tried to take a couple of selfie videos with Peter Wright and they just didn't come out the way we wanted to. But he was looking a little grim in the box, to be honest.
Yeah, he was having a good time.
But they were fantastic seats. And it's such a good level because you can hear what's going on in the ground. You can hear them talking to each other, but you can see the whole ground as well. So shout out to the Verse.
It says right here, you can witness the AFL season in luxury. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
How about that? And it's MCG and Marvel Stadium as well. Tickets sorted. How good's that?
So good.
How good's that? How good's that for a plug? Let's take a break. We'll come back.
I have one more good before the break.
All right, shoot.
One more.
Go.
We look good without Peter Wright again. We're just lowering our eyes in that second half, like hitting people up that aren't in the goal square. Like actually hitting people, maybe 30 out on a lead, 40 out in a lead, lowering the eyes, not kicking higher than a head.
Lowering the eyes.
Head tight. Like it was just, I don't know.
I think
this could be remnants of last year again, just looking slightly better without Peter.
I'm not sure if it's a counter, I guess. My add to that would be that I actually feel like we have lowered the eyes in this season. I think across the board, I've seen more people getting hit up in the lead than what was a let's just bomb it long strategy. Yep. And I think the other thing is that we're used to playing without Peter right now because we had to do that for half the year last season. So it's not a shock to the system.
Yeah.
But it creates a bit of chaos, and it's just that is the good thing about it. Would we all still prefer him there? I think most of us still would. Like I don't think after 1 week we can go, oh, Jones is the guy to rely on now. Like we can't say that.
No,
clearly.
But they went to Stringer and Langford more without Wright there, and that was nice because they're so good one-on-one.
I kind of agree with Rob. I think we are lowering their eyes a lot better, and that was a huge issue for us for a long time. But I think it's just been in general these first 3 weeks. Like we kicked 100 points the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
with Langford and Stringer kicking multiple goals, Gresh kicking multiple goals. So,
and Wright.
Yeah, that's right. With Wright in there as well. So
other good on that is we're just a good set shot team.
Such a good set shot team
for most of the time. Like Stringer, Langford, and Wright.
Yep,
so good.
Some
of the best kicks in the league.
Yep. Perfect. Like Jones is hit and miss. The smalls have their issues. Like Menzies and Gresham can be a bit unreliable.
Kind of like almost Lurker, Kennedy, and Darling-esque back in the day. Those guys never missed.
Lacroix.
Remember when Mark Williams, was it Mark Williams
who's gonna
that
be
we
the-
got from Hawthorn, and he was a dead-eye dick. He never missed, and then we
Yeah.
got him and he couldn't kick straight.
got
The
his-
Essendon curse.
I got his number in my phone. I was talking,
Really?
I was talking the other day.
The shotgun man.
Yeah,
He didn't get the
We've
shotgun
gone from a
man
shotgun to a
either.
bow and arrow.
Yeah, exactly. We're going back.
That's political correctness for you.
We're going back. We're going back in time. Yeah, these
We're woke.
these bloody woke medieval people with their bow and arrows. How dare they? How dare they?
That's funny. I've got another good, actually, just a real quick one.
Yeah.
Darcy Parish laid the most tackles on the ground with 8,
Man,
which was fantastic.
And
you
so
know.
good below his knees. Like,
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Good.
Across
really good to see him
across the board, there were like Joel and I were reveling, particularly in the second half, with some of just the best ground ball pickups from different players. Ben Mackay did this ground ball pickup in front of us, and I did not stop talking about it for the next 5 minutes. Joel's like, Rob, watching the game. I'm like, did you see what? Like, do you know how big he is and how quickly, like, how easily he picked that ball off the deck? Like, yeah. Anyway,
That's some serious talent.
yeah.
Mm.
Like Merritt as well. Parish, very good below their knees, as we know. So,
Yep.
Another real good for you guys is that I was inundated with hot takes.
Yes.
So many. Can't play them all, but we're going to take a break and we're going to come back and we're going to rinse some hot takes.
Woo! Let's do it.
Attention all homeowners. Are you frustrated with your current property manager? Not receiving your rental payments on time? Property maintenance issues taking their toll? Well, say hello to Holland Price Real Estate, your trusted property management specialist. Based in Melbourne's north, Holland Price is a long-standing family-run real estate agency with over 50 years of industry experience. What sets them apart is their dedication to providing a personalised service tailored to your specific needs. By choosing Holland Price to manage your property, you're not only supporting a small business, but also backing the Essendon Football Club, as director Carl De Sanctis is a passionate Bombers supporter. Well, aren't we all? For homeowners who believe it's time for a management change, why not make the move to Holland Price? For a limited time, they're offering an exclusive deal for listeners of The Sash. When you jump on board with Holland Price, use the code HPSASH to receive 1 month of their premium property service management free of charge. So head over to their website, hollandprice.com.au, or give them a call on 03 9384 0022 to discuss your property needs and use HPSASH to get 1 month off the premium property management service.
Yes. Get it off.
Back to the pod. Welcome back. Part 2 of the show. Hot takes. Back for another week.
Yes.
I posted the link. People came in their droves,
Mm-hmm.
in their dozens, Joel.
That's why it's hot in here.
It is why it's
Because of
hot.
the hot takes.
It is the takes. The takes have lifted the temperature in Castaway Studio. All right, let's get started with Stop Yelling at Me, Devon.
Really awesome effort forward by Harry Jones. Great to see him back in a bit of form, but I reckon we should all stop and take a moment to worship the old dog that is Dyson Heppell. He had Martin stole the show with like 97 disposals or whatever it was, but let's just take a minute to thank Heppell, who's played a damn good game and had the second most disposals of our team with something like 32, I believe. I'm sure I'll be corrected if that's wrong, but yeah, love to hear your thoughts about Hep's game.
I think we spoke about
Correction?
How many did he have?
It was good.
How many did he have? Correction, he had 30. He had equal 30 along with Merritt and McGrath. So there you go. But really good game. We spoke about that before.
How many did Parish have?
Darcy Parish
26 or 27 maybe?
26.
That's nice. That's nice.
Good
That's
return.
cozy. With 8 tackles, that's large.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, it's nice that the midfield did a good enough job that on his first game back, where he probably wasn't at his absolute best, that he was just able to play his role and, it not be the deciding factor in the game. But the tackling is the big one.
Yeah, and there was some of them were really strong tackles. When I was watching the replay, it really stood out to me. And I will take 26 and 8 over 42 and 0 any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
So is that a small dig at Martin? Or
It's a dig at the former Parish or at some of Parish.
Can I also just say
Martin had one tackle, thank you very much.
on the Parish topic, frothing the James Hird socks pulled up and the Lloydie sock pull up trend that he's got going on. He's the only player in the team that rocks the full sock pull-up,
I didn't-
and I like
I
it.
didn't even notice that.
I put a lot of money on him to win the Brownlow at the start of this year, so I was a bit pissed off when he, didn't play the first 2 weeks. But I think he's got Brownlow in him. I just feel like if everything goes right, he could have Brownlow in him.
Do you know I reckon?
Keep telling yourself that,
Do
Chief.
you know who I reckon's got a Brownlow in him? Zach Barrett.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Surely.
Yeah.
He just needs to not get
Surely.
rubbed out.
Yeah.
Has he already been rubbed out this year?
No. He will at some point, though. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Next one's from Dex. Thank you, Dex.
Give Jake Stringer a 1-year contract. That's fucking phenomenal. Pardon my language. Holy smokes. Package Brownlow.
Thank you, Dex. I forgot to do a language warning at the start of the segment, but that's okay.
Don't give him the 1-year contract now, though. Wait till the end of the finals and then give it to him.
Yeah.
If he gets it now, he'll rest.
Speaking of Paco, this next one's from Paco.
P-A-C-K-O. Paco fucking
Very good, very good.
That has to go into the end of year nominations, surely.
He really unites
I'll
Paco when he's on. He
I'll
just
star
unites.
That had a lot of what's that? The Big Les show. about-
Yeah, good on, boys. All right. Next one is from Fred. Thank you, Fred.
Okay, I just stole my dad's phone, and I love this podcast. I'm learning so many swear words like "oh, fucking bombers." Yeah, bye. I love this podcast.
Fred
again. Oh,
we love you, Fred.
Yeah.
Keep doing
Freddie.
your thing.
Yeah, just don't say them around your parents.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah.
No,
Or in front of the teachers at school.
Yeah, or to your parents and not to anyone else.
And teach your friends.
Next one is from Rory from Scotland. Thank you, Rory.
That's unreal.
Hi, it's Rory from Scotland here. A little bit embarrassed. Wet pants. Just absolutely ejaculated as Jakey Boy slotted that masterpiece from over 50. Made hard work of that, but got better as the game went on. I think Laverde's still costing us quite a lot. But a lot of their boys, like Dursma, Durham, obviously Martin had a great game. And just the pleasing thing, last year it was faded away as the game went on. This year seemed to be getting stronger and stronger into these matches and coming over the top of teams late on. So onwards and upwards, work on the basic skills and just start smashing out more victories. Don's footy. Go the Plains.
Go to the Plains.
Thank you, Rory. There's something about that accent which makes all the vulgar
Stronger and
comments
stronger.
okay. I don't know what it is.
I froth that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
That was good.
Thank Rory. Yeah, Rory from Scotland and the
Rory.
guy from Canada.
From Canada.
Can we get them on the international pod?
Yeah, we'll get Rory.
Live streaming.
Yeah, we'll get Rory and I forgot his name. The guy from Canada. We'll get them on together.
Rory.
All right. Next one's from Scott Moore. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, you know what, boys? I moved from Melbourne to New South fucking Wales, and the first game I got to see that year was the GWS absolute drubbing. Don't worry about it. Come 2024. I go to the Sydney game, round 2. We get fucking beaten again, you absolute dogs. Chad Warner, I was yelling out, get back to Bondi, you dog. Anyways, long story short, boys. Round 3, St Kilda. And guess what? It's my old man's team, the Saints. I've now told him to get a fucking dog up your dad and get a VB up ya. Go Dons.
Well, I think your first mistake was moving to Sydney. Like, obviously, you're not going to have much joy watching the Dons over there. So you should move back to Melbourne, bud.
Yeah, yeah. Who have we got next? Next, I got Big D. Thanks, Big D. Ugh.
The package has delivered for Easter, and it feels like Dmer has arrived as well. But our defence is still a sieve. And I don't know about every other Essendon supporter out there, but I had the Shakes all bloody game. But 4 points is 4 points. Can't the Plains.
4 points is 4 points.
That's right.
And early wins are important. If you look at the ladder, have you looked at the ladder today, Jesse? Have you looked at the ladder? Because here's something interesting, Jesse. There are 5 teams who are yet to win a game. There was 7 teams who lost their first 3 games, and now Richmond and Collingwood have both registered wins. So the fact that we have 2 on the board is a nice little start on those sides.
Yep.
4 of them you'd probably say were never playing finals anyway, but I mean, Brisbane and the Crows, I think, would have been in people's 8s. So good to get a little jump on a few teams who may or may not turn it around.
Yep.
Next one's from Rick. Thank you, Rick.
Hey, gents. Couple of injuries today from Marvel Stadium. One, the guy in front of me's been knocked out. I've fully barred up, and it's hit him in the back of the head and just knocked him straight out when Package kicked the goal. The other one was that my vocals kaput because I was just yelling, "We are Edginton. We are Edginton. We are Edginton. We are Edginton."
The edging jokes are never going to not be funny.
Speaking of, first ever year being a member of the Dons.
Which is baffling, by the way. Absolutely baffling.
And my reserve seat...
My 7-week-old son has been a member as long as you have.
Go on. What else have you got for me? Yeah, that's what I thought. My reserve seats at the G are fucked. They are right behind the goals with the biggest nuffs you've ever seen in your life. And I'm that keen to go back and just...
Like top level or bottom level?
Bottom level.
Like the cheer squad?
I'm just behind the cheer squad. So I'm...
Oh, I'm in.
Like, you're not in with the flags and whatnot. You do get blinded by them for a little while when we score.
Yep.
But some of the creatures down there, oh my God. You'd think that they...
It's the best seat in the house.
You know
clearly.
That, like the nuclear power plant in The Simpsons? Like, I feel like some people have been swimming in the nuclear power plant.
in the lake.
In the lake.
Obviously not the Essendon supporters, clearly. They're clearly the opposition supporters.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No. I said that to Rob on the... and when we were leaving, I was like, for a very athletic game, a lot of AFL supporters are very unathletic, including me. I'm very unfit, but you kind of, it's funny when you're watching like super, super fit people running around and you can hardly make it up the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, if you want to see me, I think it's row JJ, M4 level 1. So I'll be there. And I think I was actually genuinely thinking whether this could take off. Back at school, I was the cheer captain. And I was
you joined the cheer squad.
But making it good. Starting to do...
Hey, what's wrong with the cheer squad?
Everyone has the same fucking chant. It's so boring. Actually getting some European chants going and flares and shit in the Essendon cheer squad.
If you bring flares to the cheer squad, I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to get a megaphone and start actually getting some genuine... Because they've started doing the "We are Essendon."
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so it's they're getting there.
Yeah.
They're slowly getting there, but they need a bit more... I think they need a bit more diversity in it. It's either Essendon.
You like that clip for the guy from Adelaide? Everywhere we go. That one? You be like that guy?
Oh. I reckon.
Hey, just got to do great work. Just got to do great work.
I mean, you got to commit to it every week, which is the hard
They've
part.
put you there for a reason.
Yeah.
No shade. Hey, no shade.
You have to
on the
know
cheer
life
squad.
it. That's the only way, and I don't think I'm there yet.
No shade on the cheer squad, please. Next one is from Tyler. Thanks, Tyler.
Paco, unbelievable. Nick Martin, unbelievable. Cop that, Saints. You fucking had your pracky game win. Cop that tonight. Fucking eat shit. Love it.
Yep. Poor Fred.
Derek's not happy. Derek's not happy.
But he secretly loved it.
Yeah, well, he's a Saints supporter, but he loves hearing people.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Derek
the producer.
Derelict.
He is a Saints fan. Next one is from Darby, and he said he's having a good time.
All right, boys. The package has been delivered. Here's my mate. He's the St Kilda supporter. Give us your first thoughts, mate. Fuck off, cunt. Oh, there you go. He loves it. This, eh? See, boys?
Oh, wow.
Like I almost wasn't going to put that in, but then
It has to be done.
You just hear the Saints guy. I just had to make it.
I was wondering, so just for everyone that doesn't understand Derek's role in this show, he's our producer at the moment, and I've never seen him look as uninterested. And I was wondering, maybe he's having a bad day. It's rainy today. But that would explain it. I forgot. You're a Saints supporter.
Yeah.
That was him. That was Derek in the background.
He may also be playing Fortnite as we speak. So there's a real chance. All right, who is next? There's so many of these. I'm sorry, but people who aren't getting played. This one's from Langford's Upper Lip. I think it's a bit different, if I'm right.
Hey, boys. Just had to let that one marinate before I sent this in and watch a Facebookers vlog, which was hilarious. If we don't win the centre bounce, we are hopeless. Apparently that's the way we're playing this year. So that'll be fun to witness, especially against Port Adelaide next week. Kelly, I don't understand it. Like, he's a 15 disposal, 153 metre gain to wingman. Like, I'd rather have Goldstein on the wing and then play Brian as a second ruck. Probably get more out of it, to be honest. I don't know how he's a walk-up. Jones, 2 goals, like 2 flying across the front of the pack, contested marks, which were pretty good, but once Peter's back, like, unless he's decided to pull out and start kicking a bag for the next couple of weeks, Peter's back, he's gone. Goods, all the recruits, they've all had their moments, but that was Dersmer's tonight, and I think they've all shown that they've been, like Bar McKay, who we paid overs for, but we kind of had to. They've all been an absolute bargain. And Langford, what a man. What a mustache. Anyway, go Plains.
Go Plains.
Go Plains.
Bit of a more serious take.
Somber.
Thoughts?
The upper lip getting very personal about the moustache. There's a bit of a relationship going on there.
Yeah. Like, look, I've said several times that the Kelly wing thing is not my favourite, but, you know, if we stop the defensive problems, I don't care who's in the team. But that being said, we haven't fixed them. But I think it's more than him just being on the wing. Like, he's on the wing and then he drifts back, and then, like, it's part of it's not just his running up and down, like, say, a Dersmer is. But yeah, I'm not sold on it. I reckon they're.
Did he have any impact over the weekend? At the game, could you see him setting up defensively better? Because it's hard to tell on TV, but it didn't look like he had any impact.
He was neither bad nor good. Like, it was one of those games where, like, he wasn't noticeable to the point that I was like, oh my God, what's he doing? Like, it's so bad. Or, oh my God, he's been so great. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, he was involved in a few things. It was fine, you know? But, you know, seems like he's one of Brad's boys because he's professional and he, you know, does that. And, you know, he has come from a club where he played in a grand final, albeit a losing one. So there's probably a bit of professionalism there that he probably has on, you know, an Elijah Sardis, for instance, as an example of a player. But am I sold on it? Definitely not. That's my thoughts. You guys want to add anything to that?
Bizarre beginning to the hot take about the Facebook reels and stuff. I mean, interesting that the Langford's upper lip, but the name I rate highly. Langford's upper lip is a great.
Whose Facebook was he
name.
watching? Was it Saints TV?
I'm not sure.
Was he watching my friend Jake on Saints TV? Because if he was, then it was pretty funny.
Why have you just whipped your card out? Is what I want to know.
Buy my son an Essendon membership.
You actually haven't bought it for him.
Well,
you're just dishing out to me, and you haven't actually bought it for him.
All right, we're going to need another half an hour to unpack this.
No, it's been on my to-do list.
Jerry.
It's been on my to-do list. And I'm just going to do it right now. Hopefully these cameras can't see my credit card.
Not a member.
No.
Yeah.
You motherfucking beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Well, so what are you buying him? The cheapest membership?
I'm buying the Baby Bomber membership because he's a baby.
What's the Baby Bomber membership?
Well, it costs $69. Hey.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. I don't know. Get some baby stuff. No, well, I was told by my partner because she was like, it's like, you said you bought it. Has it come yet? And I'm like, oh, it's coming in the mail. And she's like, well, it hasn't come soon. I'm going to buy him a Collingwood one. And I was like, oh shit, I
I
got
gotta
to
do this.
now. So the
Immediately.
fact that when I went to the hangar at the start of the year for those interviews, I bought him a onesie. So clearly, like, he has Essendon gear. So anyway,
It's dangerous.
It needs the
territory.
plastic.
yeah. All right, next one. This one's from Isaac. Thank you, Isaac. Or Isaac.
Great game, and it's nice to get a win on the board. Not sure about this hard edge shit though, if I'm being honest. When I played footy, I wasn't very good, but I was always known for my toughness. But what that really meant sometimes was I would just hunt the ball and go nuts at it, but had the foot skills of a blind Dutch woman. So I don't mind hardness, physicality,
I see.
Pressure around the contest and around the ball, but not in exchange for skill and class. So that's my only concern going forward is like, yeah, great, we'll be a really hard team. We'll be really physical in probably the worst era to actually be doing that. But what does that really mean if we can't hit a target? So I wonder what your guys' thoughts are on that.
I think those two things are...
Not sure. Go Dons.
I think...
That was a retort halfway through.
Yeah,
What you were
he just
saying.
interrupted me.
Not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, didn't want a bar of it.
Yeah.
I feel like the skills and the being harder are exclusive things. I don't think they're the same things. We were plus 15 contested possessions, as we spoke about earlier. Laid some really, really strong tackles. The skills is something we have to work on, but I don't think we're sacrificing skill off the base of then being hard. I think they're two different things.
Yeah, I think just like whenever you're taking football advice from someone that didn't play professional football, you probably don't really read
Like
into
us.
what they're saying all that much.
I mean, I didn't play, so don't read anything I say.
Yeah, definitely don't read it.
Don't read anything on this podcast. I decided to Google blind Dutch woman after that comment. And
surely it's the name of a big shit back in the day.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's not. There's a few articles about someone being euthanized, so we're going to skip over them. But hold on.
Not sure.
Her foot skills probably weren't great.
Not sure. But I did scroll down, and I saw there's a movie called Blind from 2007. I just want to read you the bio of this film. In the late 19th century Netherlands, an albino woman and a blind man develop an indiscriminate love for one another. Will love be blind? ? That's the question, everyone.
Will love be blind?
Will love be blind? Think about that today, listeners, as you listen to this
For some
on your way to
reason-
work or whatever you're doing. Will love be blind?
I'm picturing Paco as the albino man for whatever reason. Who's the blind Dutch woman?
No.
I don't think we should ask that question.
Yeah, well, I think it's
Come on.
it's an albino woman and a blind man. So anyway,
Oh, wait, is it a blind woman?
it's a blind man apparently and an albino woman because the Google searches just cherry pick the words.
Yeah,
from the
Pato's
bio.
still the chick.
If anyone has watched the movie Blind and has a review they'd like to send me, please send it because I'm never going to watch it. So tell me how it goes. We've got a couple more so we can wrap up. This one's from Blair Shep. Thank you, Blair.
Yeah, g'day lads. I have been a bit quiet at the end of last year on this one. My soul was being crushed a bit too much, but went to my first game of the year last night. First time I've been able to attend, and it was an ugly game, uglier than me, to be totally honest. However, 4 points is 4 points, and it was character building. I like to hope, optimistic about that fact. Good to see Dmer really put in some hard yards. Harry Jones, I told him when I saw him at the cricket earlier in the year to have a good year, so he took my advice on board. It's good to see him actually crush some packs. McKay, whatever. He can't kick for fucking save his life, but I'll tell you what, he's going to be valuable just as that big key back. I was sceptical, but been quite happy. Goldstein in the ruck as well, and Draper up forward competing. There was a stage there where the two big boys both competed on the half-forward flank, and we wrestled it in and we got a score. So overall, it's good to see us not roll over and get absolutely smashed like we have historically. So hopefully this is a good sign. I think the big tail will be going over to Port, who move the ball quite well. They're coming off a loss, of course. So let's see how we go, lads. Defensive transition still something to be desired. My Upway women's team probably defends a bit better, but look, it's a work in progress, and that's all we want to see. We just want to see a few wins chalked up at this time of year. So happy days, happy boy. This is my voice is pretty crook. One take.
One take, boys. You said he did in one take. Thoughts on those comments, Joel?
Well, shout out to the Upway women's footy team. Yeah, I think what I like around all of them, except for the one about the Facebook, is they're generally pretty positive, and I think it feels like there's a sense that the tide is turning a little bit, which is nice. Obviously, it's early on in the season, but yeah, it's good to hear that in general people are enjoying watching the footy, and you know, like a lot of people, we ended last year not liking footy or not wanting to watch footy. Like we're all in that same boat that he was talking about. So
Mertz is yet to recover.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
and
it's taken a toll on people.
I felt pretty dark for the first few weeks, but this, like I said at the start of the show, I was like, this game gave me a bit of a spark, even though we're a mile off being the finished product. We're so far off, but there was just a little bit of spark that I was like, hey, it's not that bad.
I was trying to compare it to how I felt last year when we were winning games, and like it's kind of hard because I remember I was really happy last year about this time of the season as well, and then things changed.
Yes. Then the dread comes.
Undefeated till round 4, I think, against Derelict's old mob who knocked us off.
Something like that. All right, 2 more to go. We've got a couple of good ones to finish off. This one's from Alexander. This one goes out to Derek.
Oh, when the Saints get fucking wrecked. Oh, when the Saints get fucking wrecked. Oh, how I love those goals from Jack Stringer to make the Saints get fucking wrecked.
The lights are off.
We're done.
And he's cracked a couple of cans. There we go. Beautiful. And I got one more, boys, to round off the show. I was worried at points late last season that this man had disappeared, possibly for good, left football. But our great mate Lurker is back.
He's back.
Oh, Lurker.
So we'll end with Lurker's comments.
Stringer's sublime set shot sinks Saints. Bumbling Bombers becoming better. Adelaide awaits. Planes to pants Port Power pretenders. Go Bombers.
Nice. That was one of his best yet. Really good.
Very good. Very good.
His hiatus has been treading him well.
Yeah.
Because he's got some quality behind that.
I feel like he's been like on a mountaintop somewhere in Asia with some, Buddhist monks just being zen and just thinking about the world.
Yeah.
In one of those kind of movies where like, the protagonist is like, I need to go away and train. And then they cut to the montage of them, smashing bricks and doing things with some guy. That's where Lurker's been for me.
You don't think he's been just like lurking in alleys for a little while? Yeah, just like not poking his head out. Waiting for us to become good.
Yeah. He may have also been doing that job.
On.
Yeah. He may have also been doing that.
So are we doing any bads or not? Because I've got a dog of the week actually.
Yeah, I mean you can do it. I mean, I feel like we sort of did some bad. So yeah, we can.
I've got a dog of the week.
Go for it. We can end on that. Yeah. I reckon.
Dog of the week is the MRO tribunal absolutely rooting the Essendon Football Club and letting players like Scott Pendlebury get away with smacking a player off the ball in the stomach. They say it wasn't a closed fist, but he still hit him with the bottom palm of his hand and enough to have Neil on the ground winded. Doesn't get any suspension for it. And Zach Merritt last year gets suspended for that exact same action. And then you fast forward 2 days later and Liam Baker absolutely pile drives his forearm into Lewis Melican's head and says that he's spoiling the ball. Currently, he is arguing at the tribunal as to whether or not he should have 1 match suspension. And it's getting to the point where it's so ridiculous that the AFL only really, at the end of the day, all they look at is the effect that the action had on the player. If Peter Wright hadn't have knocked out Harry Cunningham in that incident, he wouldn't have had 4 weeks.
No, of course not.
If Liam Baker had have done it and knocked that player out, he would have had 4 weeks. But the problem is if the AFL actually wants to make a stand and stamp out this behaviour, you need to stamp out and punish the action and not the consequence of the action, because it's not teaching anyone anything differently. It's just a sheer case of luck. So get a fucking dog up your AFL tribunal, MRO dogs. I'm sick of fucking seeing it. You absolutely put us to the sword every damn time. And honestly, I'm actually over it. Oh, Pendlebury, the absolute pin-up boy of the AFL. He should have had a week, and honest to God, Liam Baker should have had 2 or 3 as well. So piss off. I'm sick of it. And get me on the MRO so I can have some bloody say about it.
Yeah. I mean, at least in the Liam Baker sense, like there's a football action occurring in some specs, whereas Penderbury just whacks a bloke.
That's just a
and
hit.
like the difference between that and Redmond hits it. Redmond does the same force as a hit, but because it hits a guy in the jaw versus in the guts, it's different. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Newcomb didn't even go to ground. Newcomb laughed it up, whereas Neil's on the ground. So, like, what is it?
Ridiculous. Yeah. It'd be good if other clubs were able to challenge non-sightings. Like we could just step in and be like, no, that's fucking bullshit.
Or there's a jury of other clubs on the panel. Instead of having a fucking panelist, get a jury, and each club has a representative
and you just have
on the jury.
The Essendon Russian judge has been like guilty every time. Always guilty. Good rant, Jesse. It's a good note to end the show.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone who's listening should be angry as they end this program. After what I feel like's been a good show all in all. That is going to wrap us up though. So thank you to everyone who has listened or viewed tonight's program. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors, First Ever Custom, Ticketverse, and Holland Price, who are all on board for the next couple of months. So make sure you check all them out. Have you getting a new custom kit for your soccer team, Jesse? You're getting because you should be.
Yeah, I really should.
I forgot to bring your top.
I want to get a custom kit.
I've got
for
your
the pod.
top. I've got your.
Do you have it here?
Yeah, well, we got them made. I forgot to bring yours.
I don't ever want to be on the show without wearing the top. That's how committed I am. And the futsal team does need new tops.
Well, I can tell you.
We're called the Prosciutto and Pals, so I can get some seriously good kits made.
Well, you can get 10% off as well. So thank you to FE Custom. That's a free ad right there at the end for them. And again, thanks for listening. Thanks to our premium listeners who give their hard-earned dollars to keep the show alive, to pay for the studio, to pay for everything else. It is very important that those people keep it going. If you want to sign up for the show, it's $5 a month or $42 for the entire year, and you get an extra show every single week during the footy season, and you get some bonus content when I do it. And you also get access to our premium Discord, which I'll tell you what, folks, the game day thread from about 5 p.m. until midnight on Saturday was pandemonium. And it's really good after a win, getting on the train and going onto the game day thread and just talking a bit of shit with people. It's bloody good. So get on there. Thursday show, it'll be me and Kingo. Everyone loves Kingo. And we'll be reflecting on last year's gather round and all the amazing things that we got up to and all the blank spots in our memory about what happened that night. And we'll be previewing the Port Adelaide.
Are you gathering around this year?
No, I fucking wish.
You couldn't. Are any of the boys doing it?
I don't think so. No, I had a good chat with Merton Kingo a couple of months ago, and I said, "Are we going to do round 2?" And the agreement was it was going to be too hard this year. So
yeah,
I'm jealous. If you're going over, it's a great time. Go have a good time. Go hang out in the hill. And hopefully you meet the same Port Adelaide fans who I met last year because they were great people. So fingers crossed that you do. Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Joel.
Good to be here.
Thank you, everyone. Go Plains.
Go the Dons.
Go the Dons.